Alright, guys, we're going to be talking about another franchise that is unfortunately dead, and I don't see it coming back. We are going to be talking about, of course, Saints Row, the franchise. So, if you guys know anything about Saints Row, if you guys know anything about me, Saints Row is literally one of my favorite games. I remember playing it on 360 for the first one. I remember the way it ended. I was so like, oh my god, we got a second one. And then the second one came out, and it was probably my all-time favorite. The second one was probably my all-time favorite. I watched trailers, I analyzed everything. I was thinking, I was so wrapped up in this world, learning about, the Los Canales, or the Canales. I was learning about, the Vice Kings, the West Side Rollers in the first game. Then, of course, I was learning about, the Ronin, and then the Brotherhood, and then, of course, just all these different ones, right? And the story was amazing. And then we get to 3. And 3 is where it really went off the rails, where, going to another city and then having a new design Shandy, which I absolutely loved. I know a lot of people did too. And then Kenzie, and then Angel and Zemos and Oleg and all these characters. But of course, killing off Johnny Gat as early as they did. Then they bring him back in 4, and they had the whole space thing, and it was just really crazy. And I didn't mind it, but it was so crazy. And then going into DLC with Gat, hell, that was just pushing it, in my opinion. It was still fun, but it was pushing it. And then them doing the remaster or the reboot of the franchise, which was beyond stupid. I've said that however many times. It is beyond stupid what they did this franchise. A bunch of college kids trying to be gangsters, and the whole story didn't make sense. They pretty much used a lot of different things within the first 4 games, mixing one game with the Brotherhood, and then the other one to be like, Ultor, and then another one to be like, the ones that Matt Miller was using in the third one, which again just didn't make no sense. I mean, they had so much potential with this franchise, and then of course between, they pretty much just went off the rails, and now the company is no longer there for Deep Silver and all of them, and it's just like, can this franchise ever be picked up? I don't know. I don't know if this franchise can ever be picked up. If it can, I will be 100% surprised, because this franchise is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. There's people that have channels on this. There's people that continue their own stories with this, for fan-wise. I've read some. I've written some as well of how much I love this franchise. And again, I don't see this franchise coming back. If it does, it probably won't be for a few years. Now, unless another company owns the rights, or they continue it, or they just, get rid of 3 and 4 and get out of hell, and they somehow continue it with whatever. Because especially with what they were going to be doing, what was leaked about them doing something a little different to continue the story of 2, to go after Dex and a bunch of other stuff, which again, I did do a video about. That's like an hour long, so definitely check that out. But at the same time, this franchise was almost battling, or pretty much battling, Grand Theft Auto for however many years. And there's people that are going back and forth with it. Oh, it's not that good, or oh, you're overhyping it. But again, it was so customizable. It was so customizable between your character, your car. You customize your gang, customize your weapons, the way you wanted to do things, your jewelry, everything. A lot more than what you could with Grand Theft Auto, in my opinion. And the story was peak. Amazing characters. Johnny Gat was probably one of my favorite characters. So Daniel Day Kim did an amazing job with that character. Having other actors come in for 2 was amazing, especially Elijah Dushku as Shandy, or Jamie Presley as, the girlfriend of Marrow in SR2, which was amazing. And then, of course, having all these other characters that we know and love. But a lot of people got, messed up because we didn't get to finish Dex off the way we wanted to. We didn't get to figure out what was going on with Troy, how we were going to handle that, or, where to take, the franchise in 3. And then we took it into a whole direction that some people loved or hated in 3. And then 4 just was a mixed, communion of fans of loving or hate it. Same thing with Gat Out of Hell. But I think, honestly, if this franchise ever continued, as much as I enjoy to a certain degree of 3, 4, and Gat Out of Hell, probably get rid of those, get rid of the reboot and automatically just continue the story with 3 if you got to, or remaster 1 and 2, then continue it with a brand new third game. That's what I would do. If someone says, here, take the rights, what would you do? Me personally, I would get rid of 3, 4, get out of hell, the reboot, remaster 1 and 2, then go ahead and see how that does while I am planning a 3, and use some of the ideas that they gave us of what they were going to do for the reboot, but give us 3. And then probably leave it off there and see what it goes from there. And if it does well, then continue into a brand new one like 4 or something, and make it a better 4 than what we got. So that's my honest opinion, guys. As much as I love Saints Row, it is a dead franchise, and I can only see it coming back in that way. In all honesty, if it gets rebooted again, or someone grabs the rights remasters and continues to do the third one that we were wanting to get all along. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you as always on the next one.